Tim with Ace Appliance in Toledo, Ohio, and welcome back to another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Alright, we are on a front-load Amana washing machine that the customer complaint was that it was leaking. And a visual inspection of the bellows shows that it is chewed up a bit, so what we'll have to do is replace the bellows. Okay, the tools we'll need for this repair are a T20 Torx bit, a 1/4 inch nut driver socket, a pair of needle nose pliers, a common Phillips screwdriver, and a flashlight. So the first step in replacing the bellows is to take off the retainer spring, and there's the spring portion of it should be right at the bottom. And you can take the needle nose and loosen it like that. And then we'll just remove the bellows from the outer lip and just get it out of your way. Next, we're going to take our Torx bit to the lock assembly and remove just the bolts. We don't need to remove the connections. After that, we can remove the dispenser drawer. Set that to the side. There's a Torx bit that holds this on. This one's very different than the rest. It's for plastic only, something to take note of. Next, there's 3 bolts in the back to hold on the lid. And we'll slide the lid back, lift it up to remove it. Now we have some 1/4 inch bolts on top. There is one more Torx bit. It is the same as the one that goes into the front. Now we will take off the 1/4 inch screws that hold the console on. At this point, the console is free and we can pry up just a little bit on the front. It'll come over a ridge. So we'll just pry up a little bit on the top here and get it off of the ridge. And it should come out real nice. If we follow the wiring harness back to the central control unit, we can just press that in and remove it. Take note of where it went. It's the only one that is that large. So we'll set that to the side. And at this point, we're going to just go to the bottom and remove the 2 1/4 inch bolts that secure the front. And we'll remove these 4. At this point, once we take these 2 off, this will be fairly free, so just support it so that it doesn't fall. And now that all of it is free, you can just drop this guy down and remove the entire front. And now we have really good access to the bellows. This can be done with the whole front on it, but to me, this assures that you get a really good seal. And now we have one more clamp around the bellows that is a Phillips bit. So we will remove that. And we are halfway through changing our bellows. So once that is loosened, we'll just take this guy off of there and remove the bellows from the outer lip of the tub. Alright, now we're going to install our new bellows. If we look at the bellows, there is a tab on there that says up, and that is the center location. On the bellows we have two ridges, one right here and this one. On the top we'll go around the outer tub, and inside of here we'll get the other lip through here. So we'll just start by putting it on the first lip and going all the way around to properly seat it. The first part is probably the most annoying, as it keeps coming loose.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, so we are working our bellows all the way around and continuing to get it into its proper ridge. There's also a tab at the bottom to make sure you're centered up. And just keep working it until you get it all the way around. It's a little bit tricky, especially at the bottom here with the counterweight in the way. Alright, and once this is fully seated, then we will go and put the first clamp on and continue with the rest of the installation.
Go ahead.
Alright, we're now going to install our inner clamp, and I've just taken it completely loose. Get it all the way around. Hold that sucker in place, and we'll take our Phillips screwdriver and line it up with the bottom portion and get it started. Now just take special care, because this is a rubber part. And just make sure we're not binding anywhere. This thing doesn't have to be tightened so tight that you start ripping the bellows itself. It just needs to be firm. So at this point we're nice and firmly in place. I just give one more go around, make sure everything's in place, and it's on to the next step.
Okay, go ahead.
Alright, we have one more part, one more ridge to go on the outer tub here. So we will lift that up and start to get that into position. And if you keep a portion up with your finger, you can just go around and work it in as you go. And it pretty much ends up going right into place, just with a little extra. And we'll just continue around the entire part here. Alright, so we're almost at the end. We're just continuing to work this guy around, tucking it in, making sure we got a good seal, getting the last portion in. Give it a good once around. And now we will put the front panel back on and continue on. Alright, we're going to put on the door panel now. And if you recall, we'll slide it under this part of the assembly. And everything is completely loose right now, so we have a preloaded 1/4-inch bit or nut. And we'll get that side, support it, and get the other side. Now we can put the two on the bottom to fully secure it. At this point we can also put on the one that we took off over here. And these four, those are purely optional to take off, but I just do it to make sure I have all my options open. And with these in the right spot, we can now put our front display on. And to do that, we'll just slide the ribbon cable through, leave it dangle for a moment, get our display in the right position, and just press, and it naturally goes over the lip. Now we'll just route our wiring harness the way it was originally and plug it back into the CCU. Make sure it engages the clip that holds it on. Now we will put back in our Torx screws. We had one on the top that goes into the dispenser. And now we'll put our top back on. It needs to go over a lip, over this front lip and down. Then we can slide it forward and secure it in the back. Okay, we're now going to get the lock into position. And secure it with the Torx bits or bolts. Our next step is to move the boot out and into position so that we can put it around its final outer lip. And the reason we take it all out is just to make sure everything lines up, there's no binding, and that this is nice, and you don't want any big deflection shown here, otherwise you'll know, and it'll be a problem in the future. So we'll start at the top and just work the lip all the way around. This one is a lot easier than the other one. Get that guy all the way until the bottom. And just do a once around to make sure it's all seated properly. Now we will put on our retaining spring, and the spring portion should go at the bottom, so I start that out there and work the top around until we get some tension, and then I just secure it with one knee, and at the top here take my needle nose pliers at the spring, get it back under the lip of the bellows, and then pull it out and work it around until we are seated like so. Now we're going to close the door, check for leaks, and our repair will be complete. So right now we're running our washing machine and checking for leaks. We'll let it run for a while and just make sure that we have no leaks. Put the bottom back on and this repair will be complete. Thank you for watching another in-home diagnostic video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.